For the final time in 2022, here in Korea, we say good afternoon and welcome. It is Championship Sunday, the best day of the week, in my own personal opinion. We will crown a champion today at the 19th edition of the SK Telecom and SK Shieldus Championship. We have some defending champions in the field. We have a couple of newcomers who are really making a splash, trying to divvy up this 1 billion won purse with 200 million of it set for the winner. Those are the groups. Those are who we will be seeing paired up together from the course of now through to the finish line. Maybe we will need yet another playoff as we had needed last weekend, or maybe it will be won outright. At the moment, it is Peng Min-ji's tournament to lose, playing in the feature group and looking like she has not cooled off any from what she had put together yesterday in the second round. My name is Adam Jenkins. Thank you so much for joining us here today at La Vie et Belle. As you can see, the pictures tell the story. The weather, not nearly as nice as it had been through the first 36 holes, though the last 20-25 minutes yesterday saw a little bit of rain fall from the sky, but it is cloudy, it is foggy in portions, and it is certainly damp. As we begin our coverage, Peng Min-ji is the leader by 3 strokes over Pae So-hyun and An Sung-hee. And each of those 3 in that featured group, so they will know hole by hole what it will take to try and keep pace with the woman in the black and white cardigan, as you see at the bottom of your screen there. An Sung-hee is able to get up. She was 69 in the opening round, 68 yesterday, and currently 1 under on the final hole before the turn. In between 2 clubs, she was deciding between the hybrid and the iron. She chooses the latter. This is the approach shot, 75% this week, her greens in regulation. It's just on and over the front of the fringe and will carry to be essentially side by side with An Sung-hee. It was a 65 yesterday, a remarkable day, 2 under during the midway mark of the tournament, which relative to the conditions in the rest of the field, 2 under is a brilliant score on this Sunday. A couple holes further forward, Kim Soo-ji playing on 11. She is 3 over today. Dropping down the leaderboard, gets a helpful roll to that bottom left step of the green. Last in this group, Pae So-hyun. She lands the deepest, and the ball continuing to roll all the way towards the fringe at the rear of the green. Got a 12, so she is +4, narrowly hanging on to even. Needed that to arrive to cauterize some of the slipping she has done down this leaderboard. It's only been a few events since Peng Min-ji's last victory. The major championship, the 22nd Heighted Jinro Championship. She took 2 weeks off, came back for the SK Network Seoul Economics Ladies Classic, finished T25. The S-Oil Championship last week, T35 after a tough Sunday. The world number 18 poised to win yet another. It would be the 16th win of her career. We are far from the finish line yet. Jung Jimin too. We're watching her closely today as she is just outside of the top 60, which is the automatic range to secure tour membership for next season. Her put on a team with still half a round to play. Even would project her to be just one spot back of that top 60. Can't be 61, can't be 62, must be 60 or better. It's not just that these three are not only in the featured group and in the top three, it's that they've built a pretty comfortable advantage for themselves. After Bae So-hyun and An Sung-yi, nobody at -7 at the moment. Lee So-young, Ha-min Sung, An Sun-ju, Cho Ayan all at 6 under. They are almost goes without saying further in their round. We have 4 players in the top 10 at even. We have 3 in the top 10 that are over par today. More of attrition with some tricky pin placements and also the conditions on top of it. Bae So-hyun is ready. This is a 13-meter putt back to the right side of the green, looking for a birdie. Gets it up the hill. Now it starts down. Good read and good execution of the weight. It's going to take a minor miracle to find it. Back with those 3 in a moment. In the meantime, Kim Soo-ji unable to get one of the 3 strokes that she has dropped today back. It's a tap-in par at the turn. 35. Birdies 3 and 4. Bogeyed 7. A short putt about 4 feet that she let slip away. Otherwise, it would just be a 2-stroke disadvantage. Next to play the downhill look for another birdie. Nearly had it. Late break to the left, just misses to the inside. That close. Grazes the edge, but we'll do some forecasting based on where we are, with 2 under really being a good score, considering where we are right now in the tournament. Pang Min-ji, a 12 under would almost certainly be enough to win it. That means lots of pars and 1 pickup should be enough to get her there. It will be a frantic race for the seating beneath her, though, with lots of prize money on offer. Sung-yi has not had a good 2022. No podiums yet. 11 missed cuts and only 1 top 10 finish. It's been quite the fall from grace. Nearly losing 100% of her positioning. The World Rolex rankings down to 338 and had missed the cut last week. She, the previous champion of this event, has put together some good consistency. She is also in. Excuse me, she's also out with a 1 under 35 after missing the birdie. Attacking on the very next hole, and that was where you wanted to be for the pin placement on 11, not the case on 12. It's a simple tap in. 34 on the way out. Her birdie's at 1 and 5. A 3-stroke advantage with 9 holes to play. You would absolutely take those odds as she looks for another big victory in what has been an unparalleled career. It would tie what she did last year with 6 wins, and that was seemingly untouchable. She can do it again. Said yesterday, and it's worth repeating, when the event is sponsored by a security company, there is only one way to deliver the prize money and trophy. 1 billion won is the total purse for the 77 players who began this tournament. 200 million of it will go to the winner, and halfway through the event, it looks like it will be another big payday for Bungmin-ji. 115 million will go to the runner-up. 80 million for the bronzed placed finisher. And you think with Bungmin-ji, who already leads Kim Soo-ji by over 200 million won, she would get to 1.477 billion. And when you glance back at what she had done yesterday, that would be more than what she had done. Despite having the same number of wins, she has been more consistently higher, and there have been some bigger purses this season as well. In fact, only one player last year reached the billion plateau. Shorter season, not nearly as many events as we've had this year, but Lee Jung was the runner-up as we take a look at 10. 10 birdies here today, 1 eagle, 33 pars, and 4 bogeys. From the teeing ground to that middle stretch of fairway just before the 5 bunkers that separate the run-up to the green. 2 bot bunkers to the right, 1 off to the left as well. And the pin placement today, here at 10 in the final round. 41-yard deep green, the pin 5 yards from the left, 22 yards off the front, and you can see in its own little crater. These 3 have played it exceptionally well. 4 of the 6 combined trips have resulted in birdies. One eagle here, by the way, courtesy of Kime Reem. Also saw an ace on the par 3 7th off the club of Lee So-young. 2 birdies, 2 bogeys, and a hole-in-one. It's a pretty interesting day. She had just bogeyed 12 as well, currently in the tie for 4th position. She was the last of the group to have a birdie. And Sung-yi goes first with the driver. to get through that rough. Of course, the course, certainly, of course, the course. That's a fun turn of phrase. Is playing very soft today, as you'd expect with the conditions. Very wet, very damp. Also 11 degrees currently, which is 11 degrees cooler than it was on Friday. So Young, for the most part, this week, 70% of the time nearly, she has gone straight or right. Only 31% of the time she has drawn the ball, which is certainly interesting for a right-handed golfer. We go to 13. So Young, this is what we had just mentioned moments ago, the bogey. Back down to 1 under for the day. ENG, the last 2 drives, she just has enough to avoid the little gully. 1 of the 3 perfectly in the fairway, driving into the wind as well. Of some of the distance. 1 meter per second in to a headwind on that 10th tee. We go to 12, Kim Soo-ji. Uphill and a prayer. Answered, my goodness. Mostly camouflaged down there. Her first birdie of the day, the most unlikely of fashions. It's too much of a slip at this point to say confidently she'd be back in the top 5, but see if she can put a little run together now. Great putt. A much less confident, but far from straightforward putt as well for Hung Jung-mi. Downhill to start. Back up and should go right at the end. It does all of those things, and she has navigated it brilliantly. Will propel her to a tie for 4th position. Gets back to under par for the round. Green, Kim Jae-hee. It's 5-footer. 2 bogeys, a double bogey, and at long last a birdie. It is relief as much as anything else on her face there. the furthest back. 78% greens in regulation. A long way to go. He's looking significantly left. It is left, and it doesn't have enough bite to stay on the green. That will roll all the way to the rough. Not quite pin high. Wrong side of the green. That will be a complex downhill putt, trying to judge that the right way. Stops on the hill. Closest of the three is Bae So-hyun. Plenty of golf still to be played, but this is how we sit at the moment. With our featured group on 10, Pungmin-ji from Bae So-hyun and An Sung-yi. Hung Jung-mi, her birdie at the last, pushes her to tied for fourth with Ha-min Sung and An Sun-ju. Lee So-young is in 7th position. Championship Sunday on an overcast, low ceiling kind of day here at La Vie et Belle. We'll step aside momentarily and be back with more in this final round. The first of what was always going to be 2 putts from An Sung Hee. She now knows what she will be facing to secure par. Next up in this group is Bung Min-ji. Working her way downhill. This would be right up there with her most impressive of the event. Just not quite enough on it. Repeat it a few times because it's worth being mindful of. She does not need many birdies in this home stretch. She has done just about everything she needs already. Pars all the way in would be just fine. Wood 14, he's so young. This is 185 meters. Going with the 5 wood. Takes another chunk through. That just hits the inside and does not drop. So close for Bae So-hyun. Overhit. That was going to be tricky. But every drop stroke from here to the finish line makes it all the more complicated. She is able to prevent any further damage, keeping herself 3 back. Is a bogey, the second in 3 holes. Slowly fading away out of contention as every hole passes. claims a couple more victims. We move on to 11, the par 5. 8 birdies here today. Not a single eagle. 35 pars, 5 bogeys. Par has been the consistent score on this dog leg left shaped 11th hole. Pot bunker, just as the hole really rotates to the left, can be problematic. Play from the second shot as the fairway narrows. I've been today in this final round, as you just saw on screen. Very close. Right side of the 41-yard deep hole, 23 yards off of it, so just about the middle that way. G heads right and finds the second cut of the fairway.
네, 알겠습니다. 이동 멈춰주세요.
The rain is unrelenting. Bit of wind to factor in with the tee shot as well. It's gone right somewhere on the other side of that little hill. The course side volunteer will have eyes on it. As we go to 14, he's so young. It is slightly uphill, but she has to have. Eventful as it should have been, but still finds herself 6 back. Sole possession of P7. And so me last in the group to go ahead and drive. Only one that's a little bit more to the left. That's playable. The field for the LFASI's Point Championship is set. That is just around the corner. Yuhei ran on 8,275 points. She is the leader, followed by Kim Soo-ji and Park Ji-young, the top 3. After that, EA1 in 4th. Chi-Han Sol on 6,505 points. Lee Mi-jung, Lee So-mi, and Park Young-kyung, 4,055. Those are the automatic qualifiers. Ho Da-bin and Kim Hee-ji have been invited to the special event to end the year. He's on the other side of the rope, but it was potentially a lot worse if the course was dry. That got a kick to the right.
이동 멈춰주세요.
Necessary adjustments in the meantime, and so me will play.
자.
Supporters braving the elements to contend with poor visibility and umbrellas all around them. Looks clean contact, and the initial assessment from her caddy is good shot. ENG join her group mates in a tight little line. Up towards the green. It's the bite to try and hang on. On to yet another par 3. This is the 12th. Tee shot. Distance, depth-wise, about right. Unable to stay on the green, however. Still 3 shots between Peng Minji and Pei So-hyun. The bogey from An Sung-yi has her 4 back.
알겠습니다.
That is the perfect path to the hole, starting and getting closer and closer back down the hill. It's one of the better shots we'll see from Bae So-hyun today. Another look at it. Definitely helped out by the downhill and the fact that the greens are playing so damp. Not as dramatic an approach. Just trying to outlast the weather as much as anything. Everyone down into the little pocket at the left side, and a little bit of backspin to boot for An Sung-hee. 3 really good looks at birdies after some great aggressive ball striking. Tough second half of the tournament for Sonye Bean. Started so promising with the 69, quieter day yesterday, but no doubt this has been her most difficult of the 3. 9 spots from where she had started the day with only 1 birdie that came at the 6th. Otherwise, bogeys 2 and 7 and a double bogey at 4. Last minute landscaping, trying to pick out a break point while she's down there. She's trying to put a little bit more pressure on Bang Min-ji. Would have got there if it would have got there. The gap would have shrunk, but that is disappointing on one hand and a bit of a relief on the other. Gap remains at 4. Agonizing watching it hover over top. Oh, there needs one and a slight touch to finish it. Kim Jae-hee from off the green at 12. Gonna putt this. I think she has better control of the weights with this club, and it's the right decision. Took her so long to get her first birdie of the day. Now she has 2 in 3 as she tries to make a late round, late tournament climb to a top 10 position. Bang Min-ji has another. Wasn't long ago I said 12 would probably be enough to win it. Her third birdie of the day comes at 11 after a great approach shot. It was a shallow drive. Propped herself up onto the green and now has that advantage extended once again. She now leads by 4 strokes, half of the total of the runner-up. An Sunju watches that curl away. Will settle for a par. She stays, excuse me, that's her bogey to take her over par for the first time today, down to 5 under, tied for 4th with Ha-min Sung, Hung Jung-mi, and Lee So-young. Pei So-hyun, if she wants any chance of keeping pace with Bang Min-ji, she has to have this. Missed the cut last week after a T12 finish 2 weeks ago. Only one top 10 finish the last few weeks. 5 of them in total this season. Best result of her career last year at the Doosan match play, tied for 5th. Nerve-wracking for a moment, but she does indeed have a birdie to keep a bit of that pressure on. 7 holes and needing a swing of 3 strokes. This is the aerial view of 12, the 152-meter par 3. Good thing these drone videos were taken on a much nicer day outside. Give us the full perspective, the full lay of the land. Pin placement in this final round. As you can see, back right, 8 yards from the right side, 23 yards deep. Seven birdies here today, 28 pars. More over par finishes here than you might expect.
들어가겠습니다. 오케이.
Leader first away. Seven of 9 fairways in regulation, 10 of 11 greens in regulation today for Bae So-hyun, despite some less than ideal conditions. She takes the same route as Kim Soo-ji.
플레이하겠습니다. 이동 멈춰주세요.
The last of the 3, and she also is not going to be able to climb. If there was ever imagery to represent how it feels to try and reel in Bung Min-ji the final day of the championship, it would probably be that. Fine margins make all the difference, and it is a 3-stroke advantage from Bae So-hyun. An Sung-yi, 5 back, 7 under par. Hong Ji-yeon, Lee So-young amongst those in that peloton on the front page of the leaderboard. We'll step aside from La Vie Belle and return after a short break. The final round of the SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship 2022 will continue.
잠시만 멈춰주세요. 퍼팅하겠습니다.
여기 쳐도 돼. 그래서 상관없어.
It's past 2 p.m. in the Gangwon-do province, hour 2 of our coverage. This final round Sunday, Hang Jung-mi has a birdie sandwich with a bogey in between. Birdie, bogey, birdie. Takes her to 6 under par. Sung-hee, the first of the putts, uphill 14.4 meters at 12. Pace-wise, it's pretty good. The slightest of misalignment means there will be no birdie to be found. He's so young to get to 6 under. No, also a miss to the left. Graces the inside edge. It's a very good effort from Bae So-hyun. Unfortunate. No one in the group picking up any ground. Peng Min-ji just has a short look at par. Preserved the advantage. 3 under today through 12. Slipping close to the clutches of missing out on automatic qualification for next year. Plus 11 is not how she would have wanted this day, this round to go. Down in a tie for 68th. It's a nice putt under a bit of pressure, but it has not gone particularly well. Starting her round on the 15th. Plenty of bogeys, couple double bogeys as well for Kim Ji-hyun. So-hyun also has her par, so she keeps herself within 3. Not impossible, but with every passing hole feeling more and more improbable. This is 13, the 374-meter par 4. Second longest of the par 4s on the back 9. Fourth longest on the entire course. In play points, 120 meters, 102, to 110. The average, 2 birdies here today on the dog leg left. Up 8 meters from the tee to that first stretch of fairway, and then slightly downhill to the very narrow green. Going to be anywhere, probably best to be a bit right and staying short, knowing that the slope will come back down to the left. Minji will tee off first.
들어가겠습니다.
Soriano is next. Looking out to see what is in store. It's off to the right of the fairway, but still in play. Yuhei Ran, we haven't seen any of her today. Haven't seen much of her this week, to be honest, but Death Taxes and Yuhei Ran almost inside the top 10. Just a few short feet away from picking that birdie right back up. She's 2 over for the day after her round of 69 yesterday. Started promisingly with the birdie at the first, but 3 bogeys in 4 holes to finish the front 9, 2 bogeys on the back 9 as well. And Song Yi, the last in the group to tee off. Over the rough into the fairway, and the downhill walk begins. Sunju once again finding herself on the wrong side of the green, over in the rough. A little pitch to get it started, a bit slow.
마무리할게요.
Was never going to miss from there for her 4th birdie of the day. Still 1 over. Would need to pick up 2 birdies in the final 4 holes and have a little bit of help from above to reach yet another top 10. Chun Yoon-ji, she is at 3 under, 1 shot better. Putting from the fringe, right to left and in. It took her a long time to get her first birdie of the day. She was out with a 39. Very uncharacteristic of her, but she's starting to make her way back. Song will also be dropping here. The question is, will it just be 1 or will it be more? Currently tied for 5th Bends her knees, hoping that the ball would stay low, and it does. So that shifts Kim Soo-ji, Kim Jae-hee, and Mata Som up a spot to tied for 8th. She's found the fairway this tournament. She has birdied 10 times, parred 16, and bogeyed 3. She will be looking for that to become 11 birdies. She battles to stay in the podium and, if not get the top prize, push Pae So-hyun for 2nd. Just avoids the sand and gets a big carom back to the left side. We mentioned you want to go right if you are going to be a bit short, and that is precisely why. From the rough to having this for bogey, and Sunju minimizes the potential fallout. Short, but avoids the worst of the rough. It's going to pop up. Should be the only of the Lapang Minji who find the green. Mata Som, the rookie.
아니야, 괜찮아.
Think about where she had been at times this event, 69, 68 the first 2 rounds, but 3 over today. Otherwise, she'd be in the hunt for a podium. Go to 15 now. From the rough, we find Ibomi. 112 meters. She's +3 today. Down 2 positions. She was just outside of the top 10 by the end of round number 2. She is not able to get that up on the other side of the hill in the thick grass once again. A veteran who spent so much time on the LPGA Tour of Japan. Kim Soo-ji has stabilized since that tough front 9. Still down at 4 under. put herself in position for another birdie. She's putt well when she's been given the opportunities. She can definitely make something out of that. %, fairways in regulation, Kim Jae-hee. Downhill and arriving safely in the fairway. Pae-So-hyun, this is not a fun spot. If there's a little bit extra, priority one, getting up onto the green. If you roll slightly or carry slightly beyond the pin, there's still that downhill, especially with backspin. So there is some room to operate here. She doesn't need to heed that advice whatsoever. She just goes through the fringe and stops within 7 feet or so. Green, especially this time of year, there's plenty of debris, lots of the sticks and leaf variety. She seems committed to the putter, so now it's a matter of where she wants to align herself. It's 14 meters from the fringe here. Starts it north of the hole, starts to come back down. What a putt. Special short game display from the fringe, her third of the day. Brings her back to within 1 of Pae-So-hyun. That will go down as one of the putts of the tournament, definitely one of the shots of the day. But Min-ji glances over and nods in appreciation of that very, very pristine putt. We know that it needs to be a few feet to our left of the flag to start. It will come down. Not enough speed though as it breaks early. Pars are just fine, A-OK. Still a 3-shot gap with only 5 holes to play. Every shot, every hole gets her closer to matching her season win total from last year. Ibomi, she was on the wrong side of the hill, as we said. She was also in the sand, recovers decently well. This is why pars alone are so important for Peng Min-ji, because her lead can advance even with a par from her. Pei So-yeon needs this to avoid a bogey. Looks short. It is short. So not only through 13 with a 3-stroke advantage, but now 4, the second bogey of the day for Pei So-yeon. That's home from the fairway on 1,472 meters to go, and 5 wood. On and off the green and close to a blink of an eye. Fringe slows her right down. Now Hung Jung-mi, basically from the fringe, a lengthy uphill effort. Is it enough? Yes, it is. Another brilliant one for her. It's been a great window to bring herself back into relevancy. Up 7 spots now to 4th, outright 4th. If not for the bogey in the midst of that run, she would be tied for 2nd. That's how well she has putt. Especially, she's had a couple brilliant efforts with that club. Further up on 14, Kim Chae-hee. Wrong side of the hill and will settle in the fringe. About 7 feet to the left of the flag. That is a wonderful tee shot on 17. She certainly has the honor. With her highlight reel putt from the fringe, she will be the first to tee off on 14. 3 par 4s and 1 par 5 and 1 par 3 remaining. Seven of every 10 fairways she's found in regulation so far. It's a bit left and will just miss the fairway into the rough. Now Kim Soo-ji, yes, that's another. Two birdies, excuse me, on the back 9 as she has 3 holes left to get to even, and even would probably be enough for a top 5 result this week. She'd love a redo on the first half of her round, but she has mentally reset well back to the Kim Soo-ji we're used to. Fairway, it's a bit left, but on this hole, that is definitely something you can work with. Gives you the straightest line, the straightest look down to the green. Now, Ibomi, she does get up and down from the sand. Saves her par. Still no birdies in the round. Minimizing some drops, she towels off. 10 points better. The FIR's Peso Hyun tied with her group mate, both just trying to reach out and catch the speeding train and hang on. Lands spin high and rolls a few feet further. That will definitely be a great look for a potential birdie.
Okay, left it.
Spin the return with the wedge to just a foot or two away from Matasson. Kim Chae-hee from the fringe will start down and then climb back up. She splits the ball marker and the pin. No magic birdie on this particular hole. So for a tap in to stay at 2 under through 14. Well, when we came on the air today, we were pretty confident in saying that this was Peng Minji's tournament to lose. And through 90 minutes, she has done little to falter. Couple of birdies, but just consistent striking, nothing too aggressive, but still making the shots she needs to with a comfortable advantage and about an hour away from being crowned champion for the 16th time in her career. Remarkable again this week. Still some drama to unfold. Back in a moment. Despite the low ceilings, the visibility of the holes hasn't been affected too much. This kind of day, this time of year, hot than cold, lots of moisture in the air. In the mountains, you expect this. It's 200 meters even for An Sung-hee. She's going to need absolutely all of this club, but I don't think she'll be able to reach. Being in the fringe with a bit of rain, we'll see. But it's precisely what I expected chunks it a bit, hits before the ball, and needed perfect contact to have any chance. Also trying to reach, also a bit more yardage in unfavorable conditions. 5 wood not enough for Peng Min-ji to reach the green. That's a cruel miss. Rolling over the left side of the hole. Able to reach. Not able to stay up the hill though, Pae So-hyun. Checking back in with Yoo-hae Ran. The late birdies that she's been chasing left to right. Too much snap though. Well, plenty of action still to be had late on this Sunday afternoon. Peng Min-ji's advantage is 4 over her group mates. Hung Jung-mi still possession of 4th now on 7. And those are your top 5. We'll step aside and be back to La Vie Belle after a quick break. We find on Sung Yi, deep in the rough. It's better contact this time with the iron. Gets about pin high, but not fully over the crest. A bit of a slip back, but she will stay put there. Working downhill and about 8 meters away for Kim Soo-ji this time. To be a little bit deeper, closer to the pin. She has not found a bogey yet this round. She might have one here. She needs a perfect putt in the challenging conditions. Fades away rather quickly that time for Hung Jung-mi. So Hyun starts this perfectly above the hole with a little bit more speed. It would have been a birdie. She's definitely on for a podium finish, just needs to stay steady all the way in. So Young has found the fairway pot bunker and she digs her heels in. Speed-wise, nearly spot on. Needs a tap as it was slightly offline, and she remains at even through 14 holes in this final round. sand, and at long last, up onto the green. Sounds and feels like the rain is picking up. And that does swoop early. She was unflappable until now. Still in control, still up to her. The lead has shrunk. Would take some kind of minor miracle from beneath her in the field to truly be caught. Kim Soo-ji is usually one of those players who is pushing the issue. Has not been able to putt well today. Bogey again the first time since the 9th. She'd been bogey free in the back 9 until that moment.
섰을 때 라이가 더 어디가 낫나 봐.
플레이하겠습니다. 네, 샷.
Tees off and
저기요, 앞에
runs
멈춰주세요.
off the teeing ground. Good drive, and I think she's come to the point where she's probably realized it's not going to be her championship, but enjoying the fact it will be a career best. Also playing alongside one of the top 20 players in the world must be worth it for any young player. So on the par 5, this 505 meters makes it the longest hole on course. Would be helpful to have a bit of wind at your back on this one.
있구나. 저 앞에.
Starting this putt above the hole and never wanting to come back.
원래 두개 갔잖아.
Kim Woo-jung, her highest round of the week is 75. She finishes at 1 under. She'll be able to take a couple more steps in that race for the top 60. She'll always have that opening 9 holes in this tournament when she was absolutely untouchable. She bogeys after finding the fairway, finding the bunker in the fairway off the tee. She does have that hole-in-one and the prize to go along with it. There is definitely something special about an ace, and this is it. Brand new Mercedes-Benz EQA. This is how it looked. Wait for it. There's the eruption. Her caddy realized before she did that it was going to go down, and in a bit of disbelief, then she looks over the shoulder and says, yeah, I'll take the keys to that Mercedes, thank you very much. That ball to go on the mantle as well. Always nice to have those special moments within a round, within a tournament. Despite the birdies just not really, for the most part, following her today. Definitely into the home stretch now. As we currently sit, it remains 3 despite the bogey from Peng Min-ji, Hung Jung-mi, and Sung-yi at 7 under. Lee So-young in with her 72, 7 back, tied for 5th. Kim Soo-ji, Chung Yoon-ji also tied at that score. 5 players at T6, 2 at T11. Ryu Hae-ran needs a birdie at the last for yet another top 10 finish. Second shot on the par 5. Fairway to fairway goes Peng Min-ji. The very far left side of your screen, you can see the pin. It would take some kind of magic strike to reach on a 505, so she's just trying to go straight, maybe shape it a little bit right to left. Set up the approach. A little bit deeper than Peng Min-ji in a similar position in the fairway. It's a good second shot. Kim Soo-ji, she was short on the tee shot, floating it back up and leaving herself with just a short putt for par. Soyeon, the last in the group to play her second. She'll get stuck in the rough, but does avoid the downhill drop into the rice fields. Back to the green at 17, Hung Jung Mi. Moving to a tie for second if she can convert on this birdie putt. She comes close. Not quite enough.
Nice pussy.
Curious to see how 18 goes for Yuhei Ren. North of 80% this season on tour that she has finished in the top 10. Been remarkable that just the late round pushes, the wins haven't accompanied all that consistent play. It's a nice setup shot. Over top of the sand, over top of the water. Bomi. Simple putt, but an effective one. She is on pace for a 75 in the final round. Just outside of the top 10 at 2 under. ENG avoids the thick rough and going to get to the fringe and then drops slightly beneath it. She has had struggles at times with par 5s this season. Should still be able to use that 4th to at least set up the par, which is what Kim Soo-ji is facing on 17. Keeps herself in a tie for 5th position with that make. And Song-yi. Contact was brilliant. The result is satisfactory, not great, not poor. Be about 9 feet between she and a birdie as the rain glove comes off. Meters for Pei So-hyun. And she is well short. Not even able to get up over that hill, and the look painted across her face says it all. We're talking dozens. Got 50 million won on the line as she tries to hang on to 2nd position with Hung Jung Mi and An Song-yi keeping a very close eye on her, with those 6 players tied for 10th at the moment. We'll step aside as this remains Bung Min-ji's tournament to lose, though she bogeyed the 14th and is not reached on the par 5. Plenty of drama still to unfold as we near our final hour of coverage on Championship Sunday. found Bae Yun well beneath the hole. Does well to get back into a decent enough position. Skipped forward a couple of holes to 17, 7-iron for Hamin Song. Down the hill into a lovely spot on the green where she can definitely feel confident about a birdie there. This is Bang Min-ji. She plays the wedge from just before the fringe. That is the setup she needed for her par. Som on 16. Struck the ball well, lands that in a great spot. She's going to get the assist back down the hill. Lovely golf shot. Song-yi, the longest of the putts without any real question or debate. Right to left, down that hill, needs to keep getting left. Did everything. Just the slightest fraction too much to the inside. That is almost a perfect putt. Don't know how much more she could have realistically hoped for. Trying to figure it out with her caddy. She'll have to settle for a par. So-hyun is going to go inside and never, ever get back. It's a disappointing one. Rolls in a par, 3 to go. Excuse me, a bogey. Lost my mental math for a moment. That is 2 in the last 3 holes. The lead once again for Bang Min-ji is 4. Also makes things a whole lot more exciting for Hong Jung-mi, who is now in a tie for 2nd position. Short roll in keeps it. And she now officially has more strokes in her advantage than she has holes remaining. It is cruise control into the home stretch. A par 4, a par 3, a par 4, and should be another championship for Bang Min-ji. This is the next hole for the group. We see Mata Som needed that to stay straight at the end. Inside out, and a putt for par, losing her sunglasses in the process. Still no birdies today for the rookie, who is on for a top 10, which will do wonders for her late season confidence. Birdie for Hamin Song. Hadn't seen one since the 4th hole. She goes up to 4 under with 1 to play. He ran one last hole to try and find a birdie. Needs to get left. Oh my goodness, half of the ball hangs over. She sidesteps and cranes her neck to the left. See if she could trust what she was seeing. Waiting, hoping. Anytime wind, anytime gravity, that's not going anywhere. Having a bit of a laugh as she takes as much time as she can before conceding that she does need to tap it in. So a 73, she does finish just 1 stroke over par. Tournament of 71, 69, 73 at the moment. Tied for 9th. Be enough for another top 10 finish. Well, she needs to birdie out and get some help. She's definitely in this battle for a podium finish. Finds the fairway after the first shot with driver. Sonia Bean slipped a bit into obscurity for this tournament. Would have been 477, but it goes awry, so it'll be one last bogey. 78 in this final round. Get closer to the top 60, but definitely not the Sunday she wanted or needed. Down 19 spots outside of the top 30. She's not thrilled with that despite the shouts of good shot. Keeps it in the fairway, but I don't think she wanted to be that far right. And why you want to be left here at 16 is with the tight angle to the diagonally shaped bunker to the green. You want to give yourself as much wiggle room, especially to the left for a right-handed golfer, which they all are. 83% fairways in regulation, pace of run. Kim Soo-ji has also found this pot bunker in the middle of this 18th fairway. She's going to go with a 9-iron, 164 meters. This looks like the ball is almost flush with the grass. This is a very tricky out. See how it jams into the side of the hill. Fairway isn't that bad of a result considering. bounces short of the green, will roll through, but look how much there is still to make up. Her miss had been to the left. This is how things look on 18. There is that patch of sand. 2 hazards, one of the water variety, one of the sand, and nearly finding the splash zone. It's about the last 3 paces for Hung Jung Mi before the water. This is her 3rd shot now, so maybe there was a penalty. Waterlogged and topped. She kicks off the null in the bunker. And she is unfortunately watching this podium finish slip through her fingers on the 54th and final hole of the event. ENG is next from the fairway. You can see the flag over the sand, 148 meters. Hasn't approached the greens as well, less than 3/4 her GIR. Still rolling, and that will settle the border of the rough. Kim Soo-ji. Birdie takes her to 4th. Needs a near perfect approach shot, though, to give herself a shot. I'd say that qualifies for that category. A little downhill roll to the right. One shot even more impressive than the last. Very well played for An Sung-yi. Ibomi, low lofted, running it all the way, trying to slip into a tight spot within a 5-meter radius. She's done that. So Hyun, last to approach in the featured group, kisses it off the fringe, nearly hits on Sung-yi's ball. We've seen birdies from that distance before, and Bung Min-ji is off the green, so maybe the slightest of openings for those two. This would be for par. Now, she will take some comfort in that there is a 3-stroke advantage. But that's about all the comfort she'll take, as she cannot get out of the sand. She tops it. So she's on for at least a bogey. A double would take her down to 6 under, be outright 4th. And that would give some time for An Sung-yi and Bae So-hyun to find a birdie in the final 3 holes, while Hung Jung Mi would be back down to even. Things getting a little bit interesting on 18. Need a little bit of an injection of that. We are pretty confident in the result. Just a matter of seeing this to the finish line. The Shieldus SK Telecom Championship will continue after this short break. here is the lay of the land for Pungmin-ji. Off the green, just trying to tiptoe until she reaches that downslope. My goodness. Less than 3 feet away from off the green in that spot. She will be a fitting champion once again. The mastery she's had of this course, especially yesterday with that 65, and would become just the second two-time winner of this tournament, formerly known as the ADT Caps Championship. Jung-mi, this time she is able to get out of the sand. She is not able to hole it. So now a lengthy stay on the beach on a miserable weather day. And it will be a 72 almost certainly. Peso here on the left to right, looking for a birdie. No, too much break. From the opposite side of the green, the long downhill putt. About 7 meters, maybe slightly less than that. Sung-hee lets another one slip by. Too many of these instances today for her, unfortunately. And Kim Soo-ji doesn't see that move any to the right. He comes in with the 36 after going out with the 39. Is a 75 in the final round. Finishes at 3 under, level with Yuhei Ran and Sunju at the moment, and a few others. Lee Ji-hyun 3. The end of her round, she is even and trying to stay there, but she has too much pace. I'll drop her to T25 if she can recover with that short birdie, or short par, excuse me. So 72. It's her second best round of the tournament. Her 1 under mark yesterday was the lowest she had gone all week. And Ibomi, nice finish. Not a pleasant day with 3 bogeys and no birdies after her 68 yesterday. She will just miss out on a top 10 finish in her return to the LPGA Tour of Korea. Jung-mi, disappointing end to otherwise a strong day. It is the most eventful 72 I've seen in a while. From above 17, 160 meters, the second shortest par 3 on the course. Lots of sand, and if you are short, the hilly fields, the various rock walls. The pin today in this final round, as you just saw on the screen, it is 14 yards from the left side, 13 yards deep in the hole. 6 iron for Bungmin G. She goes short and finds herself in the sand. She's made it interesting the past few holes. She will be probably fairly relieved that there is nobody truly challenging to catch. Over to 18, Chung Yoon Ji. Carries all kinds of speed. That was a low lofted shot down. Will stop in the rough. Another one that comes close to the bunker, but Jungmin is able to just avoid it. Bouncing once, bouncing twice. 14. Not that we have anyone behind the featured group, but we did stagger them, so we did have a few players who began on the 15th hole that are just rifling through now. Same with the 5th. That is how it is a bit convoluted in this final round. So more difficulties for Bungmin Ji as she finds the bunker. We'll see how she escapes as she tries to inch her way closer to a career season best tying 6th win of the campaign. back. This was the recovery effort from Bae So-hyun. From the sand back up onto the green.
지금 이것 때문에
네,
그런
네.
거잖아요.
스킨 구역이 있긴 있는데 이제 원하시면 하실 수 있고 드롭이에요. 드롭이라고요? 네. 네.
And the tournament official, the rules official is out. Don't know if this is proactive or reactive. Imagine it is former.
시작하겠습니다.
Digging in, careful not to ground the club. Second shot at 17. Skips through the grass, but still has enough spin on it to stop in an okay position. Not the most straightforward of putts though, down and uphill. Line has to be perfect. Hustling over as there are groups waiting in the fairway. It's Jung Yoon-ji. And tails right. Be another bogey. It's getting interesting. It's not impossible. Essentially, she would have to have bogey or a double bogey on 18 with some kind of an eagle. Clutching at straws a little bit, we've known for a while. We've been fairly sure for a while, let's put it that way. Sung-hee patiently waited for Bang Min-ji to get out of the sand and into the hole. She has had all the time to prepare for this putt. Just not enough. Now it's pretty much official. If it wasn't before, if this was Stableford, it would be over. Settles for a par. That's the story of the day for the champ from 2019. The year she had won, 71 of the final round was all it took. She won the year after Bang Min-ji had first won this event in 2018. And Yoon-ji pushes that. Can hardly believe it. It would have been for a 74, but it is a 75 3 over. We've seen a few of those for those players tied for 7th, including Kim Soo-ji and An Sun-ju. Out with the 39 and bogeys the last, and it drops her out from tie for 5th to a tie for 7th. Bae So-hyun, too much pace on that. All the way around, a full 360 degrees, and An Sun-ju looks skywards. She finishes with a 75, 7 shots more than she had played in the previous round. Also finishes with the 75, tied for 7th. Amin Song for a 70. 4, and she gets it there. Tied for 5th, up a spot from where she had been yesterday. 38 on the way in, drops her out from a podium, but still a good day. Jungmi at that 4th place finish is all but guaranteed a 50 million won payday. Kim Ji-hyun stood up as she was hoping that would have some late break to the left, but it fortunately does not. Plus 12 is the final tournament score for the 5-time winner in her career. It's been nearly 3 full seasons now since she last won an event. What's good news for the championship presentations that will come in about 20 minutes time. The rain is holding off, at least for the time being, through 53 holes for just about everyone on course. And now it is time for final classifications and to make Peng Min-ji officially a 6-time winner this year. Preparing for 18 at La Vie Belle. It's been a fantastic host. It's the last time the LPGA Tour of Korea will play in this country this season. Next week for the, or not next week, excuse me, the next event, which will begin on the 9th of December. It is the Hana Financial Group Singapore Ladies Open at the Tanah Merah Country Club with 1.1 million American dollars up for grabs. And then it was announced earlier this week that the final event of the year will be played at Twin Doves Golf Club in Vietnam, the PLK Pacific Links Championship with SBS Golf, December 16th to 18th, the 3-round event. We also still have the LF Hazes Championship to be played. Sung-hee has the driver out for the final time today. To shape that. Fade it alongside fairway and avoid the bunker. She does both of those things. Have a field of 102 players, by the way, at the Hana Financial Group Singapore Ladies Open. Co-sanctioned by the Singapore Golf Association, this tour, KLPGA, and the Ladies Asian Tour. The very first Singapore Women's Open course looks fantastic. Tanah Merah Country Club, the Tampines course. Matasom coming up short on the putt. And now Peng Min-ji. She could take 6 shots here and still probably win this event. Fitting number, as it will be her 6th of the year. No drama off the tee. That's what she likes to see. Getting closer and closer, but just runs out of speed. 77 for Kim Jae-hee, 9 strokes more than she was yesterday. She finishes under par for the event, tied for 17th. tap in for Matasson. This final round saw her shoot a 76. 3 under is where she finishes. 3 under tied for 7th. That is 1 spot better. So it is a career best. Tied for 8th had been her previous best this season. Joyeon, she'll be disappointed with the day. Be disappointed with the penultimate shot as well. .81 is nowhere what she would have been expecting. She finished as a joint, excuse me, she was tied for 2nd to start the day. She was very much in the hunt. Just slipped away from her, tied for 11th last year. Some days it seems like you're fighting yourself as much as you're fighting the course, and it's a frustrating feeling. Disappointing for Joyeon. She just narrowly avoids the sand, finding the rough between the bunker and the fringe. Looked for sure for Bang Min-ji that she was going to be back in the beach. Lots of runway with which to work for Bae So-hyun. We've seen her body language and drop as her frustration has ascended. She really thought she had a chance today. To the fescue. Not the simplest of outs for An Sung-hee. Surprised that she missed the green altogether. Well, with nobody really pushing for birdie in the group, a chip and a putt or two would be enough for Bang Min-ji. We'll let it breathe, take in the sights, and enjoy the final few minutes before we begin the coronation. Present Bang Min-ji with another big check and go through the highlights before saying goodbye to this country on this tour in this year. More from Olivier Bell in a moment. Here we go then, the final shots of the event. She clean contact about 6 feet out, and now she's beginning to let the game face make way for the title winning grin. Punched it out from a difficult lie. I think she managed pretty well considering where she had been. And not quite enough to get all the way there. Mark, rotate, finish. And it's done for Jung Ji-min too. 69, a good day. And she has that 60th spot projected. Once she realizes where she will be by the end of the tournament, I think that grin will stay on her face for a while. She'll be back next year. But from Bae So-hyun to set up her par. She can keep outright second with this par. The amount of difference in pay is significant. It's a putt that earns her an extra 35 million won. A runner-up finish for the champion from 2019. Decent enough day at the office is 72 when there are very few red numbers out there today. Im Ji-ni 1 under. She would go on to finish tied for 25th. Jung Ji-min 3 under today to finish tied for 17th. And Bun Min-ji, the only 3 of the 72 who started the day that were able to get under par. Says a lot about the conditions and the challenges of this course. Well, after missing the cut last week, I don't think many would have expected her to have the tournament that she did. Rolls in that par. She'll be disappointed it wasn't more, but she should be absolutely thrilled with where she will end this tournament. Outright third, a podium for the very first time in her career. To 14, Shayna Yan. She won the very first playing of this tournament back in 2004. Started on 15, that's why she's finishing the event on the 14th hole. 35-year-old, consecutive rounds of 80, 19 over for the tournament. More for the nostalgia, the camaraderie more than anything, though she would have wanted to be a bit lower than she was, there's no doubt. When she's in a position to win, heading into a Sunday, you wouldn't bet against her. She's proved us wrong time and time again, and she also proved a lot of people wrong who didn't think she'd see 6 wins again this season. She's not there yet, but she will be. Pretty remarkable. Think of how long it took for her to get to this point. 1 win apiece, 2017, 18, 19, 20. Last year, 6. And in 2022, a 6th victory in her 23rd event. Peng Min-ji wins the SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship for the 2nd time in her career with a 9 under par score. A winner once again on the LPGA Tour of Korea.
잠시 후 스코어 접수가 끝나는 대로 이곳 18번 홀 그린에서 시상식이 진행되겠고요. 시상식 이후 18번 홀 LED 화면에서 경품 추첨을 발표할 예정입니다. 확인하시고 인포메이션에서 경품을 수령해 가시기 바랍니다.
잘했어요. 감사합니다, 언니. 언니 대상 받았어요? 축하드려요. 감사합니다. 네.
앞으로 이게 그거 보여주는 영상 채워.
네.
이제 방송 받아.
네. 아, 보기 한 거 진짜 웃기네.
자, 이거 예. 이거 한 번만. 자, 우측 한번 보세요. 아니, 끊어지고 있습니다. 라인 끊어진다.
아쉽네.
그냥 다 잘하지 않았어요? 민지 나 아까 그 16번
나 16번 나 진짜 진짜 잘한다.
72.
네. 35377.
3537 72 이분이요.
네.
고생하셨습니다.
네,
그리고
감사합니다.
강유주 프로님은 사인 한번 부탁드릴게요.
Those scorecards signed quickly. You don't need the water bottle shower when it's been raining all day. I think everyone realized that. The flower shower is still there.
밑에 하나 더 있어요.
This is just another Sunday in the life of Peng Min-ji.
바로 옆에 있네? 아.
아, 그리고 그거 가기로 했어요.
얘기 들었어요.
네.
We will get her mic'd up. She will speak with the SBS Golf commentators. Roll through the final round highlights and go down to the green for the awards presentation.
고맙습니다.
24 years of age and another win under her belt. One of the very best in the world, arguably the best we have on tour. 18th in the world Rolex rankings, 1st in the K rankings, and 1st in this event. Sensational stuff as she wins for the 16th time in her career. That is now 33 podiums in 144 events that she has played in. Is pretty special. The final leaderboard, Peng Min-ji, a 2-stroke victory with a 72 in the final round. An Song-yi, who won the year after. Peng Min-ji won for the first time, 7 under. Fantastic round, her best of the year. Best career finish for Pei So-hyun. Hung Jung-mi, despite a double bogey, which would have seen her finish in a tie for second for a pretty good bump in pay and points. Unfortunately, just couldn't hang on the 18th hole. She finishes outright 4th in this event. Nice to see Mother Nature cooperating. The rain stops for now. Here she is with the SBS Golf crew. Well, at this point, it's like catching up with an old friend. She has done that interview so many times. Doesn't make it any less special, doesn't make it any less impressive either when she does reach that finish line. And nice to see the banner survived the rain, and plenty of smiles for her loved ones back there with the banner. Well, we can tell you now, we have finalized a lot of the stats. The prize queen, the most money won, already decided it was Bungmin Ji. EA won, of course, the lowest rookie of the year, Kim Soo-ji, another good points haul. She will finish atop that category here in 2022. The lowest score also goes to Kim Soo-ji, and this is that push to try and make it into the top 60 for automatic qualification for next season. Chung Yeon-ju, Park Chae-yoon, Chanuri, Kim Ji-soo, Pae Soo-yeon, Kim Yan, Kim Woo-jung, Lee-ju-mi, Kim Ji-hyun, and Chung Ji-min 2. 51st through 60th in the prize standings to book and secure their card for next year. Those, the ones, this is where it feels a little bit more of a sting, just missing out, and we'll have to go through the additional processes, the various tournaments and qualification ways to get there next year. Chung Yeon-ju with the 51st spot in the ranking, 169, and there was a pretty good gap. She was comfortable she would get there by the end. We'll wait for them to roll out the carpet and get the trophies ready. I'm sure we'll have some kind of glamorous ADT presentation. In the interim, we'll go through the round highlights here. We'll begin with Bungmin Ji, who seemingly picked up right where she left off yesterday with a birdie at the first. It was a comfortable advantage by the end of the day anyways, being at 9 under by the end of round 2, 2-stroke advantage. She had gone birdies at 16 and 17 and gets a birdie on her first of this round. Pae So-hyun, par and par the first 2 holes. She was reminding everyone that it wasn't fully decided yet. We saw this earlier, worth seeing an Lee So-young after 2 birdies through the first 5. She goes to the par 3 on the 7th, and yes, beeline for the bottom of the hole and a brand new Mercedes-Benz to accompany a moment that she will always be able to reflect on. So many players who can play, some of the best in the world, that will never have that hole-in-one. It's always special when it happens. Back with Pae So-hyun. This on the par 3 as well, right after her first birdie of the day. I have a short little tap in to pick up another. Of the featured group, she was the lowest through 6 holes. From Min-ji 2 birdies, and Sung-yi 2 birdies, but those came on 5 and 6. Through 4, it was Pae So-hyun. Speaking of 5, this was her effort, just a little pitch. Zipped back to stop. And a conversion to move up to 11 under, just at the 5th hole of the round now. Based on the score we've seen, there would be some speed bumps on the way in. Fatigue set in as well. And Sung-yi also getting her birdie on 5. A remarkable putt that was. 13 was pretty special as well. We'll see that a little bit later, but we were reminded how proficient she is with putter. Then out of the sand, right at the hole, it pops out the back and avoids another. She came that close, so she would gather herself. Wasn't a straightforward, simple kind of putt, but it had just enough legs to get there. And Sung-yi, no such trouble. She was able to avoid the sand, land on the green just inside the fringe. Take her to 9 under with back-to-back birdies. It's as close as she would get to the top. So we fast forward to 7. This is one that 99 times out of 100 Pae So-hyun would make. Would be disappointing. It would be her only bogey of the front 9, going out with a 35. And then on 8, the short par issues would continue this time for An Song-yi. She would finish with an identical score, two birdies and a bogey on the front nine, and that would be it for the first half of this final round. Moving on to the back nine now, we'll start on 10, and unfortunately, a similar situation for An Song-yi. She would bogey that par 4 onto 11. Changing things up a little bit, getting back into the good highlights instead of the lowlights. This was Pae So-hyun. Perfect spot to land it. Nearly had an eagle. Rolling down the hill about 4 feet shy. She would have no problem for birdie from there. Can't say it was as straightforward for Peng Min-ji. A 4.4 meter uphill right to left putt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would be her final birdie of the day. It would take her to 12 under, as high as she would get. On to 13, this was the aforementioned ludicrous putt from the French, basically the rough. Okay, maybe, just maybe, and the full revolution before it would fall. It would also be her final birdie of the day, one to celebrate. Incredible display of skill there. The wheels would fall off for Pae So-hyun in this home stretch. From 13, every other hole would be a bogey. And this is when we unofficially lost An Song-yi from the race as well. Difficulties finding the green, needed that to save a par. Would not have it, although there would be a bit of a mitigation by the fact that Peng Min-ji would also miss on her par. It was the first time she had parred all round long. It wouldn't be the last because she would go on to bogey 18 as well, but at that point things were done and dusted. That was the finish of the round. Ri So-young, a 72 in the final round to finish in a tie for 5th position, despite coming in with a 39. Shed 3 of those bogeys from that scorecard. She finishes as joint runner-up. More on 15, more difficulties with putter. She knew it almost instantaneously, Pae So-hyun. Recover with a par on 16, then on 17. Needed this to preserve par. Difficulties with the sand on the par 3, but was comfortably ahead at that point. She would bogey, as she would do again on 18. Her 207th stroke of the event. 2 fewer than her closest challenger, An Song-yi, as Peng Min-ji wins this tournament for the 2nd time in her career. Comparing the tournaments from 2018 to 2022, she won with a 6 under that year, a 72 in the final round, a 72 in this final round. Some nice symmetry. Let's go down to the 18th green as we hand out the awards.
네, 바로 7번 파3 홀이었죠. 멋진 홀인원을 성공한 이소영 프로에게 7천만 원 상당의 벤츠 EQA 250이 부상으로 전달됐습니다. 네, 역시나 축하 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 오늘 아주 멋진 하루가 될 것 같은데요. 이소영 프로 다시 한번 축하드리겠고요. 시상에 수고해주신 더클래스 효성 CEO 김태기 전무님께도 감사의 말씀 드리겠습니다. 자, 그리고 또 한 명의 홀인원 주인공이 있습니다. 두 번째로는 17번 파3홀에 750만 원 상당의 누하스 안마의자 세트가 준비되어 있었습니다. 시상은 김순미 수석 부회장님께서 해주시겠습니다. 또 한 명의 행운의 홀인원 수상자, 2라운드에서 홀인원을 기록한 송가은 프로입니다. 축하합니다. 네, 바로 2라운드였죠. 17번 홀. 여기서 행운의 홀인원을 기록한 송가은 프로에게 750만 원 상당의 누하스 안마의자 세트가 수여됐습니다. 네, 시상코드가 전달이 됐고요. 잠시 사진 촬영을 진행하겠습니다. 네, 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 김순미 수석부회장님께도 감사의 말씀 드리겠습니다. 그리고 두 번째 특별상은 데일리 베스트 시상입니다. 데일리 베스트를 기록한 선수에게는 누하스 스마트 테이블이 준비되어 있는데요. 데일리 베스트 시상에는 라비에벨 컨트리클럽 이정윤 대표이사님께서 도와주시겠습니다. SK 쉴더스 SK텔레콤 챔피언십 2022 데일리 베스트 주인공은 1라운드 6언더파를 기록한 배소연 프로, 2라운드 7언더파를 기록한 박민지 프로, 3라운드 3언더파를 기록한 정지민 두 프로입니다. 수상은 대표로 배소연 프로님만 진행하겠습니다. 축하합니다. 네, 바로 1라운드 6언더파를 기록한 배소연 프로가 대표로 수상을 하겠습니다. 데일리 베스트를 기록한 선수에게는 누하스, 스마트, 테이블이 각각 수여가 되겠습니다. 다시 한번 축하드리겠습니다. 네, 시상을 도와주신 라비에벨 컨트리 클럽 이정윤 대표이사님께도 감사의 말씀 드리겠습니다. 그럼 이제부터 시상식의 대미 SK 쉴더스 SK텔레콤 챔피언십 2022 우승자 시상을 진행하겠습니다. 2022 KLPJ 시즌 마지막 대회 SK 쉴더스 SK텔레콤 챔피언십 2022 우승자는 1라운드 70타, 2라운드 65타, 파이널 라운드 72타, 총 9언더파로 207타를 기록한 박민지 프로입니다. 축하합니다. 먼저 SK텔레콤 유영상 대표이사님께서 우승 자켓과 트로피를 수여해 주시겠습니다. 네, 박민지 프로에게 빨간 자켓이 수여가 되고요. 우승자 트로피까지 건네졌습니다. 축하의 박수 보내주시죠. 머니박스와 우승자 부상을 수여하겠습니다. 먼저 2호권 머니박스를 수여해 주시죠. 네, 큰 박수 보내주시기 바랍니다. 시즌 마지막 대회에서 우승을 한 박민지 선수에게 머니박스가 수여되고요. 그리고 우승자 부상이 있습니다. 바로 우승자 부상은 캡스홈 1년 무상 서비스 이용권과 누하스 안마의자 세트가 부상으로 주어지겠습니다. 먼저 우승자 보드와 함께 캡스홈 1년 무상 서비스 이용권이 전달됐습니다. 네. 시즌 6승을 다시 한번 달성한 박민지 프로에게 우승자 부상이 수여됐고요. 다음으로 우승자 부상 누하스 안마 의자로 전달해 주셨습니다.
이거 데일리 베스트 있어요. 데일리 베스트 있어요. 데일리 베스트가 아니고 데일리 베스트
네, 대표이사님 감사합니다. 그리고 마지막으로 KLPGA 김순미 수석 부회장님께서 꽃다발을 수여해 주시겠습니다. 축하의 꽃다발 전달해 주시죠. 네, 축하드립니다.
Sung Gaeun also honored for her hole-in-one earlier in the tournament. A massage chair is, I mean, it's not a Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz probably has a massage feature, but hey, splitting hairs at this point. Also nice to see Pei So-hyun honored for the daily best, the low score in the first round, a 66. She was the leader after 18 holes, and then Peng Min-ji got her flowers, figuratively and literally, as she wins for the 6th time this season, the end of season send-off before we head to Singapore and Vietnam. La Vie Belle Country Club has been an absolutely exquisite host this weekend, and the weather held up for the most part, considering, hey, we're mid-November at this point, and we only really dealt with rain for 2/3 of this round and the end of the day yesterday. Good to see some faces back that we have not seen in quite some time, some graduates, if you will, of the LPGA Tour of Korea, like Chae Na-yeon, who was wonderful to have back, Ibo Mi, some amateurs, including Osu Mi, who finished as the low am, tied for 38th by the end of this event. Difficult for Pak Young. She struggled today, 77 plus 5, after being somewhere in and around the fray for a top 20 finish. Also some surprising results. Pak Ji-young, 73 to finish, plus 9 all in. Jae Min-kyung, Pak Chae-yoon, and Han Chin-sun, with the latter being in contention last week. Hyun Se-rin, a plus 8. Tough Day So Jin, a plus 10, 82 on the day. And another amateur, Lee Bowen, with a 91 in the final round. But an experience that she no doubt can use to build upon in the future. Another season in the books from this part of the world. Korea, we are going to stay in Asia. We'll go again Singapore next, Vietnam to finish the year, both in December. A couple of weeks off, and the LF Hazes Point Championship still to come as well. I want to extend some heartfelt thank yous to our fantastic crew, SBS Golf, Media Pro, and Spock, for making these weekly events possible, making sure they're as accessible as they possibly can be, and also nice to see the LPGA Tour of Korea being honored with a professional sports marketing target as they are recognized for their merit of creating a new golf culture in this country and popularizing the sport, especially the women's game that produces so many worldwide superstars. And on that positive note, this is where I will say goodbye. Perhaps my final event of the season, perhaps not. We will see how the schedule comes out. But if it is, sincere thank you again. It's been fantastic to be one of the voices of the English side of this fantastic tour, and just grateful to be able to broadcast it to you wherever you joined us from. So again, thank yous, goodbyes, farewells for now. We will be back before you know it in Korea, playing on this tour. We'll be curious to see who next year's EA1 will be, and if Peng Min-ji officially takes that full-time step to the LPGA. She has shown time and time again that she has solved this particular tour, but if she's back, hey, she will dazzle us and delight us again in 2023. Yes, that will take some time to get used to. Another dominant display, a bit of redemption for a poor finish to the tournament last week, as Peng Min-ji ties last year's 6-event record by winning the SK Shieldus SK Telecom Championship. I've been Adam Jenkins, signing off for one final time from my studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, wishing you a fantastic rest of November, and we will see you back on the LPGA Tour of Korea very, very soon. So long for now.